So where do we go when we die? To me, I don't consider death one of these horrible things. I believe that it's a graduation into another way of living. I tell everybody that we are all an extension of God. I always say that. And I believe we just go back into the source we came from. We come from a source. Our fuel comes from a specific source. And when we pray and meditate and spiritually tune into this source, it helps us with our current life experience. Do I think we reincarnate and turn into something else or have been here before? No. I believe that we may die and just go to a different energy level, a different energy plane, maybe a different dimension. I never know, and none of us can really talk about where we go when we die. None of us really know. People ask me all the time, well, you aren't Christian, so do you believe in heaven or hell? And I don't believe in heaven or hell. I don't believe that bad people go one place, good people go another, because I believe that somewhere in everybody's life, they have been a good person at one point in time in their life. I believe that all people have been good at one time in their life, and all people have made mistakes. All people have been bad at another time in their life. I don't think that God or the universe is petty enough to measure those things. I think that that's a human being type of thing. People believe that God is an over-exaggerated version of a human being. I do not believe that. I believe that God is not a gender or a human being. I believe that God is everything. It's included in everything, and all of it is connected together, like we're all connected together. And so when we die, I don't believe that we're just completely gone. I just believe that we are souls having a life experience, and our body is our vehicle, our mind is our steering wheel, and our emotions are the gas pedal. And we need all of these things in order for our vehicle to move. And sometimes we're going to make mistakes. Sometimes we're going to do bad things. Sometimes we're going to do good things. And there's no huge human being in the sky who is this puppet master who's trying to control everything that we do. And if we do bad things, we're going to go to hell. And if we do good things, we're going to go to heaven. I believe that we all go somewhere. We just graduate to wherever it is that we belong. And it isn't up to human beings to determine whether that is a good or bad place. Because we all believe in different things. What I think is good, someone else could think is bad. What someone else think is good, I could think is bad. So we're all so different, and that diversity right there tells me that there aren't two places to go when you die. It's too many of us for me to believe that when we die, we only go one or two places. Right now, all of us are on Earth. And in order to be here, we have to have these vessels in order to be here. If we go somewhere else, we'll probably need another vessel. But just like everything else, everything has its time. Everything. Things change so much. So I don't think that death is the end. I think it's a transformation into something else. Just how I believe before I came here, I was something else and I just transformed into this. So this is just a stop in the many places that I will go, in the many lifetimes I will have. And will I return to Earth? Probably not, because it's probably a graduation. And you remember when you were kids and you were in elementary school, a lot of us didn't realize we weren't even mentally compatible to understand that there was something beyond elementary school. We just thought, oh, we're going to school every day and that's it. Then we turned around and we went to middle school. Then we found out there was such thing as high school. Then in high school, we found out such thing as college. There are certain things that we do that we're not aware of at certain points in our life. So I think when we die, it just becomes another thing. It just becomes, another experience that's different from this. It's just the next level. I believe that the vessel may not be suitable for a certain person's soul anymore when they do pass away. Because, you look at some people who pass away and you feel they passed away too soon. Their death was maybe an accident. But I feel like when people are young, like when they pass away when they're young, I believe it's still a graduation to something else. Some people graduate faster than others. I've always said when I die, it's going to be my choice. It isn't going to be because I accidentally died or because, I died from a disease or whatever the case may be. When I decide I'm ready to go, I'll go. I'm not ready to go. And I think a lot of people believe that some people die where they're not ready to. I believe that people who have been on their deathbed that said they're not ready to go didn't realize that they were actually ready until they got over there. Because I think when people do say that, they say that out of fear because they don't know what's happening next. See, in this lifetime, you kind of get an idea. You may get an idea of knowing what's going to happen next. But sometimes you don't. You walk blindly into a situation, and sometimes you get a little fear sometimes because you don't know the structure of a situation. That's why so many people fear relationships, because they don't know what's going to happen between that person and them. There's a fear there. There's a fear-based premise there. I just don't think that people should be afraid of death. I know a lot of people who aren't afraid of death. They're just afraid of how they're going to die. Some people don't want a agonizing, torturing death, and so I encourage people, to understand that all of this is inevitable. All of us are going to die. All of us. No one's going to stay behind, and, none of us. All of us will pass. And I think that in itself should take away the fear of dying. Me, I don't want to die beforehand. I don't want to die before I get finished with all the things that I want to do. I was talking to my daughter recently, and I was telling her, I don't want you to be miserable if I die. Like, if I die, do not be miserable, because it's coming anyway. And I want you to be prepared for this. I do not want you to be upset somewhere like, oh my God, completely devastated that your mom died. Just be ready for it. Be ready to handle it and be ready to celebrate. I want people to have a big celebration when I die. I want my funeral to be a celebration, and I want a yearly celebration. I want it to be like how people celebrated my birthday. It's the same thing. So I think that people should be a little bit more friendlier with the idea of dying, since we're all going to do it anyway. And I don't think it's the end of anything. And I definitely don't believe that there's a heaven and a hell that people go to depending upon how, good or bad they behaved here. People go through so many things and are taught so many things by so many different people. And a lot of the behaviors that a lot of people have, they didn't really do themselves. A lot of it is not even their fault. A lot of people were programmed by other people. So you have to understand, I don't believe that God is going to measure you for the things that you have done during life. I just don't believe it. It feels wrong. I think the universe is energy, and the universe is God, and it's very accepting. I think it accepts us. I think it's people that don't accept each other. I think God accepts us regardless. And when we pass, that's just God opening his arms, accepting us.